how starting the wrong business taught me more than university. In this case, I call it the wrong business because it's not the path that I ultimately want to focus on long term. Even though I knew exactly where my passions lie and the path that I ultimately wanted to take, I chose to go into this business just because of the financial incentives. And just to give you a bit of background on me, I always knew that I wasn't going into a traditional corporate job, since my dream was pretty much to become an artist, but my realistic dream, or at least that's what people told me, was being a business owner. Because that way you enjoy the freedom, you enjoy the financial incentives, and you get to live life on your own terms, or at least that's what's advertised out there. Little did I know it's so much harder than that. I decided to go into university with the easiest degree possible, where I could just get it done and forget it forever. Even before I went into university, I was already learning and putting into practice different skills that I was learning on the internet, like social media marketing. And when I joined the class, I knew my goal was to get my social media marketing business just enough to drop out of college and go all in. So with that background in mind, I went into class on the first day expecting to learn some pretty cool stuff, or at least during the first semester, or even on the second one. But I was, to say the least, let down. My plan was to go to school in the morning and implement all the learnings in the afternoon, but I quickly found out that the learnings were not very easy to apply, and that ultimately the learnings would be useful to a very, very low percentage of the students that enrolled in the course. For example, with macroeconomics, we were looking at how to draw different graphs on demand and supply, but I couldn't do very much with that information to make a living. So I thought, maybe the learnings are not very interesting or very useful, but at least I can meet different people that are gonna think similarly to me and have a drive to succeed. But once again, I was let down as I saw that most people were only there to either party. During classes, I saw people playing games on their phone, playing chess, even gambling, so it was safe to say that it was not the types of people that I was looking for in the first place. 7 months after I enrolled, I dropped out of university without ever looking back on it. And have in mind that at this point, I've only ever made, in basically 3 years of my social media marketing thing, around $2,000. So to drop out and say that this is gonna be my main thing in, let's say, 6 months' time, was a pretty big challenge and something that I still look back on, and I can't believe I actually did it. It's safe to say that the following months after I dropped out were some of the most stressful points of my entire life, since it feels like you're just dropped out in the ocean and you have to figure your own path out. And I'm very glad that I went this route because I learned so many different real-world skills and also the resilience to keep going despite any obstacle that I got. It doesn't matter if it's business problems about clients not being happy, about not being able to find clients, or even personal ones like stress, anxiety, or even depression. By learning all these real-world skills about how to create value in terms of creating something that you can actually get paid for, that's something that they don't even teach in university. They just give you the concepts and they put you in a mindset where you have to work for another company, and that's how you create value. But in the real world, I was forced to make it happen and then get clients, transmit that value through sales, and actually deliver on the service. These real world skills such as social media marketing, email marketing, copywriting, sales, video editing, growing audiences, there's skills that no one can take away from me now that I got them, which means that I can always go back to zero in terms of revenue and get back on my feet if I really needed to. And now when I talk to my previous classmates from university, I ask them if they're learning something really special, or if they're even glad that they're spending 4 years of their life going through the degree. And the answer has universally been no. We're not learning anything useful, and it's not the best use of our time. They're still gonna finish it because their path is more on the corporate world in terms of consulting or investment banking. But if it wasn't for the degree, they wouldn't be doing it, of course. There are no real world skills that they're truly learning, and the assignments are just a waste of time. And the biggest key learning, at least for me, is that since I started on the path of entrepreneurship and trying to figure this thing out by myself, at least 10 years earlier than any of my classmates, I got to a point where I understand what makes me happy and what I truly value in life. For example, in the past, I would have said, I don't care what I'm doing as long as I'm getting the money. And this is the same mentality that my classmates have right now. They don't care if they have to spend 4 years in university to get a degree and then go into investment banking, for example, for another 5 years to get the top position, or for sure it's 10, 15 years. But they're of course doing it for the financial side of things. And for me, when I realized that money was not the thing that was going to make me happy, that it was actually going quite against what I truly valued in life, and that I was feeling even more depressed than when I was in university, that when I was on the come up. But it helped me get new skills, understand what I truly value in life, as I said. And now that I have a much clearer vision of how I want my life to pan out in the next 10 to 20 years, I can actually move forward with a lot more confidence than if I had invested 4 years into a degree that really isn't worth it for me, and went into a career that I spent years and years and years just to get to the top, just to realize that that does not make me happy, and quite the opposite, it makes me quite miserable. Imagine if I had spent 15 or 20 years just to reach the top while having lived little of the life that I actually want to live. So after being on both sides, I truly think that the real life learnings that you get in applied situations, either in business or whatever you want to do, are 10 times, 20 times, even 100 times more valuable than what you can get in university. If you only wanted the info, you can go on ChatGPT right now and tell it exactly the steps that you need to take to become a billionaire, a successful artist, or whatever you want to do. Information is no longer reserved for institutions to tell you what you need to learn and what you don't. Depending on the information that you need, you got everything at your disposal today, but as we all know, learning isn't the hard part. It's executing on the learnings. Of course, this path is not easy. As I said, I feel like I've gone through hell and back over and over, not just in the initial period, but after I got the initial success, then it went back down. And for every step that I take, I sometimes go back too. It is a true roller coaster of emotions that I can understand why most people would just prefer a regular job where they're told what to do, and at 5 p.m., they just close their computer and they're done. So I hope if you're in a similar situation, you got the learnings from both sides so that you can make the best decision that's right for you. Understand that everything is going to be hard. Staying in university is going to be hard. Doing your own thing is going to be hard. So why not choose the path that you truly value the most and the path that you want to be remembered for when you're 80 years old? With that being said, if you enjoy the self-improvement content, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you very much.